What's up, One Piece pirates, gamers, friends? Welcome back to the channel. Here's another video that we took from some testing games that I had. This is, again, my first iteration of green. This is not the deck list that I'm putting up on the channel. This is after some gaming. We tweaked it up a little bit. But it's games like these where you can find out what you do and do not like in your list. Now, one of the big bad monsters, boogeymen of the game right now is the red deck. I really wanted to test out how my green deck fared against the red deck because although 8-drop Kid is broken, we have a lot of blockers, a lot of pseudo lives in terms of Bonnie and Momonosuke. I'm afraid that Round Table, the Zoros, and the Uta engine is just a little too much to take. So I really wanted to get some playtesting in, and after a lot of gaming, I think green can house red pretty easily. So let's watch this game and let's see if we can learn something from this replay. Let's get to it, boys. So, starting off, I don't know where the button is. There we go. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to go ahead and I think red went first. He passed. So this is, again, a suboptimal start from red. Kind of what we need sometimes. It is a best of one, so you don't want to like ditch some of your really, really good cards. So sometimes you have to keep hands that just don't have one drops, and that's absolutely fine. I'm going on second, which is not the greatest for me. I want to drop Okiku on curve versus them, but it is what it is. So I'm going second. I dropped the Momonosuke. I didn't go ahead and activate his effect because I don't want it to just die. It runs out the Nico Robin, which is an absolute monster. But fortunately, I do have the Cat Viper, and I think that's why I kept this hand. I also have the Okiku, but it's just impossible to deploy here. I attach all possible Dawn, because this Nico Robin cannot live, right? Because Nico Robin living is just a little too much value. So I'm going to go 7 into 4, which requires, with him no Dawn up, is like 2/2Ks, which is possible. Very, very possible, but that is a lot that's going to remove from his hand. And then he will theoretically give me 3 draws next turn. So I'm very okay with making this trade. Thank God I had the Cat Viper. If not, I was going to get housed. But this is kind of things you need. This is why green has so much power. They have so much suspension tools. So he goes double 4-drop here and then swings at my lead. I will take this hit. I do hit into the Punk Gibson off the first, which is an excellent card. Super duper sacky. I really like this card. I hit it in a lot of my games. If by any chance you guys have the PPG Twitch channel and you saw this week's games, I was on stream round 4 and 5. And Punk Gibson do be Punk Gibsoning. So this allows me to play a little bit slower. It gives me a little bit more tempo. So I do get the Okiku and a Beji. Again, still not using the Momonosuke at this point because I want to make it on a turn that I can resolve him and still defend him. And I feel comfortable doing so. I also want to keep 2 up. 2 up is a little scary. I do have the Punk Gibson in hand. So if he ever commits to another card, I can just like suspend it. I'll take this. I'll defend the Sanji, suspend something else, and then it's just kind of over at this point. So I do have just a lot of setup. I do have 4 dudes on board. Only one of them is a real card. But the 3 that are there can sometimes clear the board. The Cat Viper being a 3K, Veggie being a 1K blocker. There is a lot of value on my board. And that's what green it is, the value king. It just outvalues your opponent and slowly grinds them out. And these, as long as I'm dealing with the board, which is what green wants, people are just giving me draws, which lets me get to my late game. And then I become the late game monster, which like with an NG of Momonosuke and Bonnie, and then sitting behind like these big kids. Kind of crazy. So he does have the Jet Pistol here, which he kind of needs to go ahead and like just use. And then how does he want to finish off this turn? Jet Pistol, absolutely monstrous card. So he goes and plays this. Now this attack order doesn't respect the Punk Gibson, which allows me to just punish him and the way that he moved his Dawn. Does it just punish? Again, these are playtest games. Obviously, this is like a little bit of misplays. But that's perfectly fine. That's how we learn. That's how we get better. But order definitely matters. If you really wanted that Sanji hit to go in, he would have hit with the Sanji, then with the Zoro, and then would have played around my Punk Gibson. But it is what it is. I still had Beji on board. We're talking about it right now, and I'm like, order, you know, he's like, it's cool. Like, I didn't respect the Punk Gibson. You already hit one in life. On this day, I think I was playing 3, so it's very probable that I have one. So I take this opportunity to just go and slam down the 7-drop Kid here because it's a free game state. And a 7-drop Kid with a Beji on board and Momonosuke, he's just going to get outvalued in literally 3 turns. So he just scoops it up. We're going to go into a quick game 2. I think this is the best 2 out of... we played a best of 3. We played a quick best of 3. So we're going to get another game here. We got to shuffle up. Shuffle it up, boys. I know we're not best of 3 right now, but we like to practice it because as it is, Top Cut is best of 3. So don't just practice best of 1s. Best of 3s, if you're just playing test games, there's no reason not to play it out of best of 3. You'll get enough best of 1s in locals and things like that, so it's absolutely fine. So we go into our next game. I mean, I think he opts to pass priority to me, which is Again, this is test game, so he wants to like test out how he does on the 1 and on the 2, which is fine, but obviously red wants to go first. You can argue you want another card, but losing tempo and first strike is kind of too big. Like, if I just get to develop an Okiku here and swing at your face, that's just... sure. So he goes Chopper Nami, which is very, very good. Probably best start. Me swinging with my leader, again, without putting any Dawn, just kind of like states, I'm going to Okiku you. He's deciding if he wants to take this hit or not. You can just drop a 1k. Again, red has not many 1ks. Funnily enough, they have more 2s than 1s. So you don't want to over combo. Oftentimes, they just take this hit. Yep, chooses to take the hit. It was a Hawk. So Hawk just minuses things by like a certain amount of power. Doesn't really kill anything. So he was thinking of triggering and then just decided to keep it, which is perfectly fine. So keeping the red Hawk, that's something we have to be cognizant of the rest of the game. He showed it to me, although he didn't have to, but sometimes when your opponent like sees a card in life and thinks, you can try to like assume it's an event, but that's why like it's kind of mind gamey. So when you try to take a life, guys, take the life and then just like look at it, look at the board. Even if it's a chopper, like I'll choose not to trigger, like no trigger, like do something like that, and that really gets in people's heads. It's kind of wild. So he goes ahead and develops 2/2 drops here. He's a board full of dudes, but I have Okiku, and Okiku do be Okiku. He's gonna go ahead and swing with the Zoro. There's just no reason not to. And I do just need more cards. I do have Punk Gibson in hand, Paradise Waterfall. Absolutely broken spells, by the way. But there's no way. I have nothing open to really play them. I have that behind the back of a Veggie and a Momonosuke. No trigger. It is a Basil Hawkins. I think I was playing way too much Basil that day, but it is what it is. We're at 5 Dawn, and with 5 Dawn, we can do quite a bit. So I'm going to go and tap 3 here to play Izu. Unfortunately, this is a 2k counter, which is kind of weird to go ahead and do this, but this allows me to kind of control the board a little more than it lets me do much more with my turn. So even though it is a 2k counter, I do get to just clear Chopper plus a Luffy. The reason I cleared the Luffy is just because it threatens more damage with little to no Dawn placement. Leaving the Sanji up, even though Sanji has 1k more stat line, means that it can, like, he has to attach Dawn for it to be strong. If he wants it to just swing at 5k, I'm kind of down. And I think I take a pass here, mostly just to threaten Paradise Waterfall, right? I had a Veggie in hand and I could have, like, slammed the Veggie, but Paradise Waterfall is kind of crazy because he's going to try to hit me with 6 on the leader. I can Paradise Waterfall to restand the Okiku, and then everything has to come at me. And I'm perfectly fine taking these hits and choosing when and not to take the hits because of the Veggie, especially when I have another one to follow up. Just want this Okiku to live. Because on this turn, he's going to kind of turn sideways to kind of deal with my Okiku. And if I can bait him to turning full sideways, Okiku then restanding, any card that he then plays after is just, it's just over. I can use my Izu offensively and things like that, and our game should be a wrap after that. So it's an ebb and flow. You kind of have to know when you can take damage, when not to. You kind of want to bait damage, but by even just floating this Dawn, he should be terrified. He almost has to pistol me here, or nothing, or bust. He also has to kind of keep 2 Dawn up to like punish my Veggie, but it's weird. Like he can't afford to do that with the board state as it is. Like he can't just keep 2 Dawn up. But he's gonna have 5 here, which is the big Luffy. Okay, so big Luffy is 7k, which is kind of annoying, but we do what we can. Then we're doing a little bit of thinking. Thinking is kind of broken, not gonna lie. Yeah, he's just denoting how he's going to be able to take care of this card, if he's going to choose to take care of this card. There's something to be said about like just not swinging, which is weird. But he goes 7 into the Okiku, which does bait the Veggie. He goes 5 into that. I think I over combo here, but certainly make it so that this is perfectly defended. So he goes for life. I go ahead and take the life. I do have a Paradise Waterfall, but it only like kills rested characters of cost 4 or lower. If not, I would have certainly just been like that Luffy. I do be getting a little sacky with it sometimes. But sure, I have to go ahead and decide how much Dawn I'm going to commit to this Okiku, because this Luffy has to die, right? So I'm going to go 8. No, 7? What am I doing here? This is a 7, yeah. 7 into the Luffy, suspending the Nami. So double 1k. That's perfectly fine. And then I'm trying to count how many cards in hand and the probability of how many 2Ks he has. I know one of the cards has to be a Red Hawk. He has 3 in hand. So I'm gonna yeah. This is kind of trolly, but I like it. He goes 2K here, and then this allows me to kind of play a little bizarre. I definitely have to kill this Luffy. He has 2 left. I know one of them's a Hawk. I'll go Bonnie. Oh, I don't even go to kill this Luffy. I'm so crazy with it. What the hell? I could have, could have theoretically tapped 3 to restand the kid, put 2 on the kid, and 7 the Luffy again, but then that loses to a 2-drop. So I decide not to go for it. I'm going to go ahead and keep 3 up. I do have a Punk Gibson and a Waterfall in hand, so no shot, bro. There's just no shot. And with this Bonnie up now, I can eventually outvalue him. He has 3 cards in hand, and we know one of them is a useless card that will never do anything except kill my Veggies. Therefore, if it's going to kill my Veggie, Veggie's going to constantly block. He's just... He will take the blocks where he can, you know? I do a little thinking. Oh, damn. How do I... Copying the pose. The pensive pose. And he has to do a thing. He has a lot of Dawn active. But again, the fact I'm not hitting his life and just dealing with the board and he has to kill me at some point is just so insane. He goes here. He's swinging for 7. 7 is a lot. Fortunately, he did order this correctly. He is respecting the Pump Gibson because had he swung with the big Luffy, I could have just over-comboed. Yeah, so I'm going to go Paradise Waterfall to restand her plus Momonosuke. I don't need Momonosuke. I have Bonnie. Bonnie is just subjectively better. So that is definitely enough. That's 5, 6, 7, 8. Those beat the 7. And restands my Okiku. Now he has to hit me. Or brother. As you must, huh? Limited options in hand. So again, unless he keeps 2 up, I'm not going to respect the Punk. Sorry, the Red Hawk. And once again, the Red Hawk basically at this point just says kill Bonnie, funnily enough. I'm going to go ahead and tap 4, which suggests to me that we have a Jet Pistol coming down. So he goes Cavendish. Cavendish. Card's not bad, as it kind of like allows him to punish me for not hitting him and kind of dealing with the board while also gaining Rush. By attaching another Dawn there, it's a little bizarre. So he goes 7 here. And then my hand is starting to look a little poopy. But I think I can afford to take this damage. Like, I'm not afraid. He goes here, I just Punk Gibson him. Yeah, and then I suspend the Cavendish. I should have just done it on the Luffy swing, because the Cavendish could have threatened Rush there. But it is what it is. I wanted him to commit more swings. So I'll go ahead, gain 2 Dawn. I'm up to 9 at this point, I believe. And at this point, it's just cleanup. He has 2 cards in hand. One of them we know is a break. So as long as we put 2k over a card, he cannot defend anything. What the heck? What am I doing? So I'm not attaching anything to Akiku. There's just no point. There's nothing to suspend. So I'm just going to start threatening that 2k out of his hand. Once I rip that 2k out of his hand, I'm just going to completely eat his board with my hero power and then Bonnie it up. It's Bonnie time. And that's kind of like the outvalue game. Like, once I can set up a clear board and then a consistent pluser plus, like, a blocker, it is, unfortunately, game. So we were talking it out and, like, what I can do. I still have another Bonnie and a Veggie. Oh, this guy's getting savaged. So I do go 5 at the Cavendish, and then he has to think. If he drops a card to protect the Cavendish, he just gives me full information of his hand. So once that's done, I know I can just start clearing on the easy. I'll tap the Bonnie here before I commit to anything else. Dude, having that Law felt pretty good, and then I remembered that it can only restand Supernovas, and then I immediately took them out of my deck. It was crazy. So I go to tap 5 here, and I play this Law, and I'm like, restand, and I'm like, wait a minute, this card sucks. Yeah, hell no. And all I have to do here is attach 1 Dawn to hero, and then just take over the game. It's so crazy. That is... I don't know if I just forgot. I think I must have forgotten here, but here again, this is beautiful and why we watch replays, but definitely overcommitted by 2 Dawn. Imagine I had 2 bonus Dawn. I could then... If I had 2 bonus Dawn, I could have actually kept 1 up and Bonnied as well, which it would have certainly been the end of the game. But it is what it is. So now with 2 life left, I can go to sleep. So he's going to go ahead and pistol me. And then again, if we're paying attention, this is Red Hawk is the last card in his hand. Gonna put 2 here, keeping 2 up finally for the Hawk. And I think I just veggie block here and don't care. Maybe I take it because I'm just such a greedy boy. Yeah, but Veggie needs to take this. Okay, cool. Dope. And now I'm at 10, double Bonnie, and here comes the pain train, brothers. So before we do anything, I think we just have to just Bonnie it up. It's Bonnieing time. Oh my, and there are just 3 killers together, a Momonosuke and a Paradise Waterfall. So there was an illusion of choice there, right? I go ahead and Bonnie it again. Bonnie can search Bonnie, but I think if I can just slam this guy down in an empty board state, once again, you just lose. So I can just swing one in with the hero here and then drop him, and then that should be enough to present the damage. I'm going to keep up 1 for Paradise Waterfall. And then, yeah. No, I do not even keep 1 up for Paradise Waterfall. I just summon the Veggie because, who cares? This game state is disgusting. He is most certainly dead next turn. There's like no card that he can summon that stops me from killing him, which is crazy. He has 2 2K counters in his hand plus a Red Hawk. All of the cards in his hand are actually unplayable, so he needs to like slam everything to Zoro, but there's no point. I'm just going to block it with a Veggie, and then Hero Power plus Izu plus the 7-drop, and then the double Bonnies. He's just going to get outvalued. I don't even have to kill him next turn. I just have to like poke him maybe twice. I can go weak with it, double Bonnie, and Mamma Mia. And that's it, boys. It's just that easy to beat red. Fortunately, this was just some practice games. There will be a green... this is not the same list again that I put up on my channel. The list I put up on my channel is after much more playtesting, after much more input from the world champion Andrew Duval himself. And definitely our list is much more clean. So thank you for watching and keep at it, boys. We're finding the One Piece.